Hey everyone, I'm Meg Grier, and I'm very excited to say that today I have a special guest with me. Most of you may know her as Maria from The Sound of Music or the Queen of Genovia from Princess Diaries, both very inspirational characters. Please welcome Julie Andrews.
Hello, Meg.
Hey! Hello, Julie. First of all, I want to welcome you. I can't tell you what an honor it is to have you here with me today. I thank you and appreciate you for your time. I'm sure it wasn't easy to fit me into your schedule.
Thank you so much. It's an honor to be here.
So, Julie, after reading your autobiography Home, I realized there is still so much left to learn about you. Apart from being the Queen of Genovia and the loved Mary Poppins, you've had some pretty great gigs in your time. Also, I was amazed to learn of the childhood you had. Looking at someone as put together as you, it's hard to imagine all the tough times you went through. How do you think the events of when you were a kid has impacted the person you are today?
Well, I think it had a very big impact. Since I was 5 years old, I've always looked up to my father. He's always had a huge impact on me. Even today. And at the time, we were living with my Aunt Joan, and every year she'd put on this show. And my father, he would make these beautiful background sets, and she would choreograph the whole thing. Mother was in charge of music. They would always come out great.
Now, are these plays what got you into your career?
Yes, I would say it had some influence. I mean, I spent a lot of time alone, and I never really got to see my parents. My mother, always away with her job, and Ted, my stepfather, and my actual father, they were always searching for jobs. And Johnny and I...
Johnny's your brother.
Yes. We would always make these skits. And the first time I actually visited a theatre was when I was about 6 years old. And that was from my mother's helper. She brought me.
Mom didn't even take you?
No, it was pretty sad. I never really got to spend a lot of time with her. I saw her helper a lot more often. And about a year after that, I really took action. Ted, my stepfather, started giving me singing lessons, and I was enrolled in Cone Rittman School, and there, all morning was academics, and in the afternoon, it was all theatre.
Was being involved with the school what led to your first gig as a singer and actress?
No, it was actually my parents. Mom and Ted, who I was calling Papa at the time, were performing at local cafes and restaurants. It was a few days before my 10th birthday that they called me up on stage with them, actually, and I really, really enjoyed it. And I actually went on future gigs with them, and I found that I really, really enjoyed them. At the age of 12, though, I was taken out of school and later performed for the Queen. That was a huge shock and so much fun, but a little nerve-wracking when we were awaiting her arrival. My big break was when I was 12 years old.
Wow.
And I was in the Starlight Roof. I'm sure you know what that is.
Oh, of course.
And then, since I was in such a big production, getting paid was a little complicated. Sorry. And, having my parents move around was very, very hard, especially because my parents were divorced and Mum and Ted were always on the go. I never really lived in a house for more than a year or less.
Oh, that reminds me. In the beginning of your book, I have it right here, it's Home, it shows you as a small child. That's how it starts out. And you're pulling into a gated house with both of your parents, your biological mother and father, and it says that your very first word was home. That seems to have a significance throughout the book. Does that relate to you in real life?
Yes, I would say that home was a very important part of my younger years. Since I never really had a home because I was a young actress, we were always moving
Traveling
throughout the country, yes. So I never really had a stable home. So it was more ironic. I was always moving around the country, so since I never really had a stable home, that's probably why I see it so differently than others. To me, home isn't really a place you go to once the day is done. It's more of a feeling. More like a place or people that you can go to if you need a helping hand. More of a feeling of comfort and joy.
That's beautiful. How touching. So your book is mainly about the years that your fans don't really know about, all of like the hidden years. And there's a picture in your book of your family. Here, I'm looking at it right now. And it says that the way and the time that the picture was captured isn't really what it seemed. What exactly was it like in those times? And what inspired you to write this book?
Well, as a young performer, I was traveling with my family weekly. Within our family, there was a lot going on at the time. My stepfather, who I was always with, was an alcoholic, and that and a lot of other things caused family fighting. So you could say that that picture is a portrayal of how everyone fantasized, I guess, or thought how happy we were, you know? So, back to your next question. What inspired me to write home? What inspired me was to give people the idea of what it was like to be in the performing arts back then.
Not just a fantasy.
No. It was much more than that. I mean, I was at a young age, so it was a lot of pressure. And I mean, I had this family falling apart and trying to maintain my acting career. And that was very difficult because all the family fighting just kept distracting me.
And so young.
Yes, so, I mean, at a very young age even, the performing arts weren't as easy as it seemed. So I thought that maybe writing this book, people could see that performing arts isn't a piece of cake.
But it's worth it.
Yes.
I see. But it seems like it really worked out for you. And thank God it did. Over the years, you've been in some very big productions, such as Sound of Music, Princess Diaries, and Mary Poppins, of course. Why don't you tell us about some of your experiences behind the camera instead of just on stage?
It's actually quite funny. I almost wasn't Mary Poppins. You see, Walt Disney one day came up to me and asked me if I wanted to see basically all the things he was putting together for this production and asked me if I was interested in playing the role. At the time, I was 3 months pregnant, and I told him if he wanted me to be the role that he would have to wait 6 months. And of course, I didn't want to hold him back.
Of course.
But he actually waited for me.
He actually did.
And it was shocking because most people wouldn't do that. And so then, 6 months later, we started filming. And it wasn't so much that I rejected it. It was that I knew that with like a baby inside my stomach that I probably wouldn't be able to take on the role.
Exactly.
And like, especially filming takes so long that it would just be a lot to handle. But the good thing is that everything worked out.
Well, thank God he waited. Mary Poppins will not be the same without you as the loved nanny. I'm afraid that's actually all we have time for today, but thank you so much for coming in, and I appreciate it. I appreciate all your time. It was lovely to see you.
Thank you so much. I'm so glad that I could be here today.
Well, thank you, Julie.
Thank you.
You can edit this out. Okay. So it doesn't look like this. Okay. Hello, Julie.
Okay.
Okay. Hello, Julie. First of all, this is never gonna get done. Hello, Julie. First of all, I want to. Hello, Julie. First of all, okay.
Okay, why don't you try...
So, Julie, after reading your autobiography home, I realized there's still so much to learn about you. I mean, apart from being the Queen of Genovia and the loved Mary Poppins, you've had some pretty great gigs in your time. I was also so surprised to learn about the childhood you had. Looking at someone as put together as you, it's weird. It's hard. Looking at someone as put together as you, it's hard to imagine. Why
Just
do
start
I
back
suck? Okay. From the beginning?
Yeah.
Okay. So, Julie, after reading your book home, I realized there's still so much left to learn about you. What?
Sorry, throughout the country, yes. So, I never really had a stable home. So it was more ironic.
It's okay, we'll just cut this.
That was kind of... I